But the Lord inflicted serious disease on Pharaoh and his household because of Abram's wife Sarai. So Pharaoh summoned Abram. "What have you done to me?" he said. "Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say she's my sister? So that I took her to be my wife. Now then, here is your wife. Take her and go." Then Pharaoh gave orders about Abram to his men, and they sent him on his way with his wife and everything he had. This even proves, like at the very far beginning, previous sentence, I'm talking about the Pharaoh gave him like a maid servant and camels or donkeys. Because think about it, you need a land, right? You need a land, you need a house for those donkeys to mate, for your servant to live also. You're responsible for that. So Pharaoh is ready to marry with this lady, Sarai. And because Pharaoh said, "I want to be my wife," right? Well, maybe just one of the wives, whatever. But at the least, Pharaoh is ready to officially kind of accept Sarai and Abram, including his groups. So this takes not 1 day, not 2 days, takes certain time to put everything in procedure, to preparation, all those things. And right here, God, after Pharaoh laid with Sarai, which cause and consequence were connects, right? So Pharaoh is considered sinful. Not really sinful, but at that time, you took somebody's wife, still it's a sin. It's still not good. So when Pharaoh sent Abram away, including he had it, which means all the servants, all the gold, all the camels, everything he had already, it's kind of like basically I'm talking about, it's kind of like to cover his shame, to cover his mouth, to buy Abram not say it. And that explains why Abram went to Egypt, get rich. But you know what? I have another thought. I have another conspiracy thought. I don't think Abram is sell the Sarai. The reason is because, firstly, let's say, make 3 parts. First part, Pharaoh, based on the age, Sarai age, whatever, I think is less possible. Secondly, in document, officially, never say the Pharaoh had those kind of exotic tasting and those stories. So maybe Pharaoh just covered in history because that's his shame, right? He didn't want to say it, didn't want to record it, but I doubt it. Anyway, there is nowhere to get verified. But from one part, from the next after that, Abram was 75 and he still can fight. He still can kill all the people, and with another kings to kill people, took his nephew, right, Lot. So that kind of actually indicates he has a group of servant, group of people who able to fight, who able to run, who was trained, not 1 day, not 2 days, because the physical training took a while, continually. Also, the killing, it takes a while. Training. You can't just take the blade, you chop the head off from one moment. You have to take a while, and especially you need a group of people like that. That's common sense. That's a human. Same thing. Even the servant, you can change their stick to spear, to knife, something 1 day. Them expecting they fighting well. So Abram has a bunch of people fighting for him, fighting with him, and they get used to that. That's my thought. I thought about, is that possible? Because that time a lot of people from the Canaan, right? They went to Egypt because of the famine. And when people move that way, they're expecting what? Survive. So they brought their animal, brought their money, brought their gold, whatever. Abram, it's possible. He's a bandit. Basically, he's a pirate. Not pirate, bandit. Yeah, he bandit. He killed people on the way. Killed those groups. He training those people through that. So he got all his wealth from a robbery. He's a robber, actually. Then it's hard for him when the famine finished, right? Or actually, when he back to the Canaan, it didn't say the famine was finished, but how to explain that much wealth, that much animal, whatever, from what he brought back, right? There is no explanation. Also, those gold, those kind of treasure, those camel, whatever, from different tribes, different people, they may have the mark on those animals' body, right? So it's harder for him to explain where he get it. So that's the possibility is, well, he used his wife as a excuse. Well, because of wife and a little bit of damage, a little bit of shame to cover he was a robber. He was a criminal. A little bit of shame. Explain that. That's because Pharaoh gave to him. And do you think people gonna verify through the Pharaoh? No. Do you think Pharaoh will remember he maybe gave some money or some treasure to people? Well, maybe not, because a lot of things go under his official people did it, right? So, and how many people dare to do so? Not many. So, Abram in a gray zone, he just used this as excuse, covered all his income. That's what my explanation. So Abram went up from Egypt to the Negev with his wife and everything he had, and Lot went with him. Abram had become very wealthy in livestock and in silver and gold. From the Negev, he went from the place to place until he came to the Bethel, to the place between Bethel and Ai, where his tent had been earlier, and where he had first built an altar. There, Abram came on the name of the Lord. Yeah, that explained my previous hypothesis. I think the time Abram in Egypt is not that long, and he from that place go down, then came up, and he brought up a lot of livestock and gold and silver. Gold and silver, livestock, servant, all those things are what? Are strategic resources. Any country, any time. And Abram, he tried to stay away from a famine, tried to go down to Egypt and try to survive. So I don't think he's gonna bring those things. If he had all those, he doesn't need to go, right? He doesn't have it. So he went there. And I highly believe that's all those livestock, all those silver, gold, something, he's robbery. He murdered other tribes, other Canaan people, whatever he got. Then when he back to the Bethel, he looked left, looked right to check his tent and to check his altar. The reason is kind of like a dog pee, You went to the landmark, you did a pee place, you sniff, you see any dog cross over, dog pass, made any modification, something. So he went there, he checked the tent, okay, it's fine, nobody come, right? So there's no threat. Then he went to the south, went to the east to see the altar. If another tribe or different religion comes, they might destroy his altar. They use different ways to worship. So he see the altar still there. So he read the God's name. Oh, I'm secure. Everything's fine. He gained the confidence. Then he's ready to live in this area, because basically from the starting point to wherever he returned, all the people, almost all the people he killed, he wiped. There is no threat for him at all. So he kind of like a dog looked through my territory. Okay, it's clean, right? Now I can play freely. Yeah, I keep thinking about Abraham, and he brought his wife and nephew back to Canaan. I suddenly realized this is kind of like what should I say? It's kind of like what should I say? Use this word, money laundering. Yeah, one is called money laundering. Another is called like the crime trial erase. Also, yeah, that's my thought. Just think about it this way. Firstly, he need to find a way to explain a large amount of money, right? Large amount of wealth, where it come from. So he used Sarai as an excuse. So basically, I'm a pimp daddy. I sold my wife for the wealth. So that explains. But there are still many possible witness, right? So because he went from north to south, now he all the way back to north where he started. He has a tent. He has the altar. He checked for everything. It's kind of like you play the game. Basically, you wear your shoes opposite. So when you walk out, actually you act like a walk in. Yeah, people, you can measure the weight, the unevenness of the weight, whatever, to find out whether it's a deceive or decept. But the point is, not many people can verify, can validate all his action. So that explains why Abram, he start to like he did from went to the very far beginning where he built the altar, built a tent, because this time he explained, okay, I don't know anything. I brought all those money from the north, right? Across the river to this land. And you see, in later he changed the name, Abraham. So it's a different person, right? Also, he made a lot of friends, because in future you find out king or those kind of king will fight with him, even will make alliance with him. It's a lot of indicates Abraham is a successful bandit, is a very successful, made a money from it. Now Lot, who was moving about with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents. But the land could not support them while they stayed together, for their positions were so great that they were not able to stay together. And quarreling arose between Abram's herdsmen and the herdsmen of Lot. The Canaanites and the Perizzites will also live in the land at that time. The Perizzites, yeah, Canaanites and the Perizzites. Okay. Here, like, I think it proves more about the large amount of wealth came unlawfully. Yeah, that's what I have to say this. The reason is when Lot and his people, right? They have money, they have herds, they have all those things. People love to bragging, right? Love to bragging each other. But if if it is a well-trained army, well-trained militias, they may not do that. They may not have the argument, but they are just bunch of farmer peasants and herdsmen, just a bunch of those people. They are bandits. So the discipline is very limited. So when they get together, what do you think they will talk about? Wow, my great kill. Wow, something, right? And if only two of them, Abram and Lot, both like a group under both command, that would be okay. But the problem is there are another people, Canaanites and the Pretzels, that different tribes live among them. So what will happen? What will happen? All the secret, all the people has ears, right? All the words go with the wing. So people will talk about, oh, they are bandits. And so when they argue, when they get drunk, when they're happy, yeah, talk about, oh, I have a more achievement. No, I have a more achievement. No, this sheep is you robbed from me, something. All those things, the Canaanites and other tribe people, they hear, they will pass to another. So that's the reason, I would say that's the risk within it. That's the risk within. And I would say when I talk about when we analyze the Bible, always like notice there are a couple parties, like God, fallen angel, and the ground, right, and the earth. So the fallen angel, they can temper people's their mind, and so they can let them start to argue, let them start to bragging, and so God's plan will not succeed. And what about the earth will do? The ground. I'm not providing food resources. I make this place, the grass not grow fast and not enough water or something. So you cannot live together, right? Think about it. If the ground support like a lot of a resource, the weed or the grass, you cut it like one day, second day grow back. Do you think they can live together? Yes, they can. And if the animals poop, all the water can wash away or some take away, they don't need to worry about it. But right now, all the environment against them, so they cannot live together. And then when they not live together, they try to fighting something for themselves. So when they're fighting themselves, all the secret will start to talk, right? So it's kind of like a three parties start to play the game. God tried to make Abraham stronger, and well, I give you fully resource, I give you all the money and help you went through everything. And you know what? And the fallen angel said, no, I'm gonna make you start to argue. And the earth said, okay. And I'm gonna limit your resource, make you cannot live together. And when you argue, well, your secret will pass to the other place, right? So that's the Lot was a kidnap, whatever, all the things. I think everything just starts from that point. So Abraham said to Lot, let's not have any quarreling between you and me, or between your herdsmen and mine, for we are brothers. Is not the whole land before you? Let's part company. If you go to the left, I will go to the right. If you go to the right, I will go to the left. So first here is when Abram realized the situation, right? And he see the potential risk. One, when they start to argue, fighting, whatever, it's internally they have the risk. Secondly, all those secrets, they might just leaked. So he told Lot, no, we can't do that. So we need to separate. And that's really good to actually it's a strategic alliance for them, because the relationship and after separate, each one take a part and there is no arguing because the resource they don't need to fighting for, right? But also another thing is, it's interesting. That's God's like a technique, separation. Think about it. God at the beginning separated the water, right? He separated the light, separate something. So here, same thing separates. And when God like made the Cain and Abel fights and made them kind of like kill each other, whatever, he separate Cain from Adam's family. He's made another separate line. Same thing, Noah. He preserved Noah and separate his line. Separate Noah's son, the youngest one, right? You are the lowest slave. So it's a separation. It's very, very kind of like a typical technique he been used and passed on to Abram. Also, right here, when Abram say, you go right, I go left, you go left, I go right, that's actually, it's you go east, I go south, you go south, I go, no, you go east, I go west, you go west, I go east. But when I notice is, why you don't want to go north, go south? Because firstly, north is where they came from. They need to cross water, go to Iraq, whatever those places may not be the best place for them. Secondly, go south. There's a very limited place, Egypt and the desert, whatever. So east and the west, that's the best choice. Also, it's very interesting for Israel, or for all civilization. It's all on this like a 30 degree north latitude. It's very interesting. Those are like all mysterious things. Most of the mysterious things and the civilizations happens on a 30 degree north latitude. Is that actually aliens? They believe like or they select this area around this place as the best weather or something. I don't know. Or it's just very interesting. Yeah, I think at the beginning, think about it, the Eden Garden. Adam and Eve, or not Eve necessarily, Eve, Lilith, right? They are naked. They don't need anything, right? They don't even need clothes. And there is, that time Earth has a season, right? Has all seasons, so everything's good. But it doesn't affect them. They didn't get a frostbite, they didn't get a heat stroke, whatever. So the weather should be like a very convenient for them, very convenient weather. So 30 degree is most likely that time is it's good weather. Even little chilly, little hot, but mostly it's good for civilization to develop their culture, to grow the herds, grow the veggies. That's what I believe. From this sentence, I noticed also another thing is, it is actually, the separation is not a bad thing from one point. There's no forever friends, and there are no forever. The friends sometimes come from what? Profit, benefit, interests, right? When someday, even you, both of you still share the same vision, still bonded, but they are people below you. They are like your manager, the high manager, whatever. They have their ambition, they have their desires, and they not follow the same things you and your partner had. So if you see this kind of situation, the best thing is maybe just separate, form a alliance. Kind of like you helping each other, but not actually. You have your own power, own control. Because should I say this? It's kind of like a captain always want to be a major always want to be a colonel always want to be a general, right? And the general wants to be the chief staff. But the point is like, one country you only have one general, no, the one chief staff, couple limited. Your your space is limited. Your ceiling, you can see your ceiling. But if separated, then what? You have more space, right? So that time I noticed a lot of like Asian time people like start to like rebelling something, and or they name themselves as a king. Even the size just like a village, they're still king, because they want to go. People's ambition, people's like the ceiling. They want to see the ceiling. If the ceiling, they can't see the ceiling, they have nowhere to go get promoted. They might just like force you, or they might make you to be the king. That's, I think, in China, Song Dynasty, that's one of the king. He's forced to be the king because all his generals wants to get promoted higher and higher, get a more kind of like promotion space. That's all I can get from this sentence. Yeah, also it's very interesting. I checked the King James version, right? About when the relationship between Abram and Lot is actually uncle and nephew, right? But in here, Abraham called Lot brother. Yeah, King James is breathing, and here is a brother. So in a New Internet NIV, and it's brother. So obviously, I haven't experienced my uncle or call me brother. Actually, yes, we may, because some uncle maybe had you went through a lot of a game, went through a lot of activity together. You're still the uncle and nephew, right? But what makes uncle call nephew brother? For we are brothers. My hypothesis, is indeed Lot and Abram, they are banded. And for banded, they have no relationship, uncle, father, whatever. They fighting together, they eating, they get hurt together. Just that's the reason the relationship is much more interacted and even equal and bonded harder than nephew and uncle. That's what I think. So Abram at this time called Lot, for we are brothers, because we've been through, we have been through all those bloody things, and we cannot argue, we cannot quarrel, and that will separate us, really like a collapse, make our kingdom or make our group company kind of collapse. So we cannot quarrel, cannot argue. And also another thing is, for we are brothers, we share more same value, we share same view, we share much more things than uncle and nephew. That's my understanding. That even proves, also another thing is, what makes Lot like so important?